The next section is about programmatic digital out of home and sports betting. Our friends at Adomni, Jonathan Godai and Mike Cooper, they put together a great session for us with some terrific editing and video from Luba. Let's take a look.
In the 2 months since I've been part of the Adomni family, our platform has had close to 50 billion interactions with digital out-of-home inventory from all around the world. That's a cosmic shift in how the media world and the world at large operates. But this evolution isn't simply driven by advances in technology that make such machine communication possible. Technological advancements are only driven by need or by demand. The needs or demands of a fast-evolving population and the intellectually developing consumer in our case. As pivotal as it is that the out-of-home sector can now speak the language of our digitally focused colleagues, be as accurate and timely in our targeting, as agile and relevant in our dynamic creative delivery, and as accountable in our content management and attribution, it's equally, if not more important, that we continue to educate the industry in the unique physical, geographical and community-centric nature of what's really the only true social medium. Staring at an app on your phone is not social, nor is photographing your meal to share that picture with people who are not with you in the restaurant. Consumers are at their social peak at sporting or music venues, whilst exercising, shopping or travelling with friends, in other words, when in an out-of-home environment. Social networks and e-commerce giants get this. That's why the companies and brands which the media and marketing world are so excited about and investing in digital out-of-home. They understand that as the world's population is slowly released out of their homes, there's an opportunity to improve the world they are released to by delivering timely, accurate, relevant, affirming messages that don't suffer from fraud or ad blocking software. The city of the future is happening now, and it's been built from an architectural brief with digital out-of-home inventory at its heartbeat, to be the GPS guide for Amazon's drones and driverless cars, to deliver free terabyte Wi-Fi to an entire state, to inform law enforcement and the medical field. All mediums benefit from a technological ecosystem of the future. But again, only out-of-home is included in the architectural brief. In taxis, planes, airports, in elevators, gyms and metro systems, and yes, on the streets of the 5G cities of the future that everybody's talking about. This allows a unique relationship between brands and consumers that's mutual and appreciated. By default, evolutions in media and technology are designed to provide efficiencies. Efficiencies that allow society to spend more time out of their homes, the only real social medium. Here to tell you more, Adomni CEO, Mr. Jonathan Godai.
Thank you.
This is nice.
Yeah.
A lot of smiles.
I love it.
For us.
Absolutely. You know, we've been up to some really exciting things. And the reason it's so exciting is because it's working. Programmatic is not just at scale. Programmatic is creating entirely new ways that brands can reach consumers. And we're here to share some stories, some use cases, and to show a wave that's been building that we have an opportunity to both harness, ride, and take advantage of. And I think programmatic is going to be a big, big piece of that story. And so this category that I'm just describing here is the category of sports and sports betting, which many of us have participated in, maybe not legally, maybe not through an app. And many of us are excited about the opportunity for New York to be able to play sports bets as easily as in Las Vegas. Before I share Mike Smith's background and also we hear from WynnBet, check this out. I recorded this video 5 weeks ago on my iPhone. Check this out. we were, how excited the crowd was to be at home. It's overtime, the first home game, and to win, to electrify audiences, to get people to engage with something that takes them out of their everyday life. In a way, we've got vaccines, but this is the medicine I think got a lot of people through the pandemic and gave them that escape. But the not obvious thing, the second thing about that video, is that the Raiders were favored by 3.5 points. It was overtime. Both teams already had the ball, so it was sudden death. They were supposed to kick a field goal to win that game, but the kicker wasn't ready. And they did that one play that turned into a touchdown that everyone in the stadium that had the Raiders with the minus 3.5 points, everyone else, like myself, who had the Raiders to win by more than 4 points, won their bet. So that experience that you normally just watch on TV and have fun is now happening everywhere. And it's companies like Sportradar coming together with companies like WynnBet, and now through Programmatic, Adomni, to take that to the masses and to unlock a new multi-billion-dollar industry that literally is just money flowing into digital billboards, bars and restaurants, cinema screens, shopping malls, liquor stores, convenience stores, all the places that you find people that would place a sports bet are now going to be given the opportunity to see a game, to see the odds, and then take action on that. So that's what we want to talk about here today, is what's happening now, but what is also about to be, some say, in the next 4 years, it'll go from $3 billion to $15 billion industry. So $12 billion of new money that's available to us in digital out of home. And so I'm pretty excited, obviously. But first, I'd like to introduce Mike Smith, who is the head of ads for Sportradar, a company that you may or may not have ever heard of. They are the largest data company in the world for sports, and I'll let Mike share that about us. But you might have, if you have heard of them, you might have seen this on your CNBC, where Mike can tell us a little bit about that, but you might recognize the guy on the left there. So Mike, please share with the audience who doesn't know about Sportradar what you guys do. And
yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me here. Huge fan of digital out of home. I came from an ad tech background, and I always enjoyed the space. So Sportradar, it's a global sports data company. We essentially make agreements with leagues around the world, Major League Baseball, NHL, International Tennis Federation, Formula One, you name it. And we gather their data and we make it into actionable, syndicatable APIs. So if you Google the score of a game, that might have come from us. If you ask Alexa the score of a game, that might have come from us. You go to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, and their score widgets are powered by Sportradar. So we're taking this sports data and really putting it out there to increase fan engagement in almost any medium possible. And one of the main ways that we drive revenue is by syndicating that data to sports books to set their pre-match odds, which are the odds you bet on prior to the game starting, and their live odds, which are the odds you can bet on while the game is taking place. The picture here contains 2 billionaires. Actually, Jordan's got to be a billionaire, right? Yeah. 3 billionaires, which is fun. I got to shake 2 of their hands, and I'm hoping it rubs off. But that's our CEO in the middle, and then Todd Boehly, who's a partial owner of the Lakers and the Dodgers. And so that was fun. We IPO'd about 4 weeks ago, and they were early investors and helped ring the bell. So again, we're very much a B2B company, not a company you may have heard of. But one of the things we're really focused on is getting out there and driving fan engagement. The more people are engaged with the scores, the data, the schedules, the headshots, you name it, the more they're going to be a fan of those leagues and teams, and eventually perhaps wager.
It's been said that data is the new oil. And really, you need an engine for oil to matter, right? We on the programmatic side, we on the digital home side are that engine that is ingesting that data and then creating all sorts of new opportunities to reach consumers in brand new ways that drives relevancy, that drives engagement. You think about Facebook, you think about Amazon, what makes them so valuable and how they've grown so much is largely in part because of their data. But data is useless unless it's being applied. And so we're at a really, really interesting inflection point as an industry where the inventory is now fully connected. We have tens of billions of impressions a month. We've got billions of dollars of purchasable ad media through the different SSPs and DSPs now. So really the next generation for what we're working on is, well, how do we use it? How do we unlock the value? And how do we compete? Like Mike Cooper was saying, we don't need to show people how we're better than Facebook. We have the physical world. You're spending 70% of your waking hours outside the home. And why are we having to be set up to something that is antisocial on people's phones? We are a complement. We aren't a substitute. And data is the key. And so Sportradar, obviously, you guys have some big visions of changing your business model. Can you share a little bit about how data applies to digital home and what are we trying to achieve here?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's less about changing and just more expanding. How do we find ways to keep fans engaged? I mean, after all, our partnerships are at the league level, and they're really focused on fan engagement. And so one of the ways that we've done that is through all of the traditional scoreboard stuff. But here, listen, if you're in this room, you're a believer in out-of-home, a believer in digital out-of-home. I think it's hockey stick time if we're talking about growth. And how do we make that just a little bit better? How do we iterate before it plateaus or before it gets to a point when we need to think of something else? And so syndicating live scores, live odds, all of the different things that you might get that is related to a sporting event, but also doing it around the sports schedule. Right? You talk about what was important yesterday, Monday Night Football. What's important today? There's 3 baseball games. There's one Wednesday. There's Thursday Night Football. There's college football on Saturday. There's fight night on Saturday nights, football on Sunday. So how do we take all of that and really combine that with the flexibility and the scale that programmatic out-of-home provides? And now we're able to give distinct messaging in distinct locations that's relevant to their sports fans and teams. And if Jonathan's video from Las Vegas has showed anything, it's you're tapping into passion, right? There's the easiest way to get to a wallet is a passion buy. And so, how do we do that through relevant and meaningful advertising? So syndicating our data and working with Adomni seemed to be a match made in heaven.
And the sports betting companies, I mean, every state that goes live is a new market that they have to acquire customers. So it's fresh greenfield territory to drive awareness, get someone to download the app, and then get them engaged. And so we have a very unique opportunity here over the next few years as legislation just rolls through the country to capitalize on our share of wallet. We're sure you're going to have your Google search, you're going to have your social media, but the physical world, as people are traveling through all of the different touch points, that's ours really for the taking as an industry. And we have we're supposed to have a third guest here who just had a baby. I mean, of all the times to have a baby, right? But Chris Chikowski, we ended up getting him in our office, and we shot a quick video. And this is happening now, what we're about to show you. But this is something that could be spread across everything, whether it's consumer packaged goods or it's e-commerce. So this is one example that's very targeted at sports. But think about it from a flexibility, from a control, from a measurement, and really dynamic content hitting the big leagues. So check this out.
Hi, I'm Chris Chikowski. I'm Executive Media Director with WynnBet. I oversee all of our paid media planning and buying strategies. WynnBet's a mobile sportsbook and casino operating in currently 7 states, expanding to more states as legislation passes. It's a very fast-moving industry, and we're looking to take advantage of new media formats, new media capabilities, innovative platforms that'll allow us to meet our goals and benchmarks for performance marketing, for brand marketing. We're treating Adomni very much like our other digital channels, performance-focused channels, and the potential of wasted or eliminating wasted impressions like we do with our digital channels. That's key for us. We're focusing on return on ad spend. We're focusing on lowering our CPA targets, and we know the power of out-of-home and the power of programmatic media buying, and Adomni allows us to combine the two, from targeting capabilities to having more flexibility with our day parting media, creative rotations, dynamic being part of that creative rotation as well. So ultimately we're treating it very much like we treat all of our performance channels. which is obviously very key for us because we're so focused on decreasing our total CPA, and Adomni allows us to do that. Understanding when and where our impressions are delivering at the right times, I think, is very key for us. We're currently using Adomni's Pixel on our website and integrations into our mobile measurement platforms to understand when audiences are exposed to our ads through digital out-of-home and the effect that it has on driving website traffic or in-app activity. So that attribution is key for us. With device IDs that have been exposed to our spots that are running through Adomni's platform, we will take those audiences and plug them into our DSP, plug them into our social channels, and continue that conversation with those audiences that are already being primed with out-of-home advertising. Now we want to keep that conversation going through digital and social placements and just get them one step closer to the bottom of the funnel and driving them to the website or to the app store to download. With the amount of media that we're running and the amount of impressions that we're serving across all of our channels, it's important that we keep our creative fresh, give a nice variety of content, with our brand ambassadors all the way down to very unique and specific offers. So having that creative flexibility through Adomni is key for us. For example, in New York, we're a partner with the Jets, so we can customize our creative for this particular market and have the Jets logo on our creative, use a local ambassador, call out the Jets and whoever they're playing, and pull in the odds from our sports book directly into the creative. So we're treating it very much like we would with paid social or digital display, and running a variety of creative. So our avoiding ad fatigue is key for us, and we want to keep our messaging fresh. The ability to then incorporate those odds that Sportradar is providing to WynnBet Sportsbook, and not only push those into our social channels and our programmatic display, but now be able to put that into our out-of-home creative. It gives our out-of-home creative a nice mix of high-level brand awareness to more specific call to action, time of day, bet on this game, here are the odds, here's the actual matchup. So that creative is a little bit more relevant in the moment. And it just provides a nice balance of our overall messaging to our audiences. Personalization at scale for WynnBet, as many of you may know, it's a very fast-paced industry. New states are coming on board pretty frequently, so we're having to adapt and add more media into the mix on a very frequent basis. And the ability to activate in an out-of-home space for mass reach, but also being able to customize it with more targetability, personalizing the creative for that particular audience, whether it's cutting the audiences by different zip codes, like I mentioned before, or calling out their home team so that creative feels a little bit more relevant to them. We think it's more impactful than it would be in digital display or paid social. So that's certainly something that we take advantage of, the ability to turn on media quickly and be in front of millions of eyeballs across thousands and thousands of boards quickly. That's key. We can do that through online and through social, which we've been doing, but now to have the ability to do it in out-of-home space is kind of a game changer for us. There's always some sort of sporting event going on. Something is always bettable. So the ability to run multiple messages in a market across different sports, to heavy up during season opening, or season kickoff with NHL and NBA coming up here soon, or the MLB playoffs, and NFL is well underway now, to be able to customize our messaging across those different sports and to go into a market and know that this is more of a football market versus an NBA market, and look at the data that we're receiving within our own database to understand that these markets are very valuable for this particular sport. We're using that data to help power what we're actually pushing out on the out-of-home space. It's certainly an always-on channel for us, and we can plus up, scale down pretty quickly through Adomni. They seem to check all the boxes that we need to keep driving our performance marketing efforts forward.
And this is just the beginning. Programmatic is in its infancy. Digital out of home has so much potential. And to kind of quote Bob Leodius at the end, it's about making marketing better. Every year, that's what's happening. Now we have to capitalize on it. It's in our hands. Thank you guys very much for the time. Appreciate it.